the Model S came out, 10 years ago? None of them have put out a car that matches the 2012 Model S. And the reason they have not been able to put that out is because they are bad at software. Elon just got named Man of the Year by Time. He is a very unusual person. So I'll just tell you something a little bit about the auto industry So I was invested for a long time in the auto industry. I studied the auto industry. We did really well with the Fiat Chrysler investment. If you look at a business like Fiat Chrysler, they were making about 5 million cars. 4 million of those cars didn't matter because the margins on those were less than $1,000 per car. Basically hyper-competitive marketplaces and there are no margins or anything. The area that they made a lot of money was Ram trucks and Jeeps and on the luxury end. If you look at a truck business, a Ram truck business or the Ford 150, whatever, very simply, if you just say that the company is making $10,000 per truck, which they can make because it's a very protected market and great brands. And let's say for argument's sake, they're making 1 million trucks. 1 million trucks a year at 10,000 is 10 billion in operating margin. That's a good business. And even though it's got CapEx and all that, it's a good business. And if it's growing a lot, you could justify a 20, 30, 40 multiple on that. So you could say it could be worth 100 to 400 billion. Tesla has already produced 1 million cars in a year. And Elon is nowhere near done. Now, he doesn't make 10,000 per car. He doesn't even make 5,000 per car. But what is possible with Tesla is at the end point that Tesla gets to, they could easily be making 5 or 10 million cars. And they could easily have at least a couple of million of those cars with at least $10,000 margins. That is within the realm of possibility. And the other thing about Elon is he'll go into businesses we can't even think about. It's like my turkey guy. I was thinking about what else did he come up with. So the thing with Elon is, what else does he put into Tesla? Now the nature of this bubble with Tesla is, I was talking to some doctor in New Orleans and I played dumb. He was just all into Tesla, all his money, everything's in Tesla, right? And he's telling me about all the great things about SpaceX. And he thinks everything SpaceX is inside Tesla. Okay. And then he's telling me about the Hyperloop. And everything Hyperloop is inside Tesla. Boy. So what I'm saying is that the nature of the bubbles is people don't go into the detail, right? And they just say, okay, everything Elon is everything Tesla. SpaceX has a business, Starlink, which will do satellite-based cell phones. Starlinks could disrupt the cellular business. It's not within Tesla, it's within SpaceX. And Charlie was telling me he thinks SpaceX is worth more than Tesla. SpaceX is actually probably worth a lot more than Tesla. They are running circles around everybody else. I mean, Boeing cannot put 3 people into the space station. Shame on Boeing. After being in the space business for all these years, you can't put 3 people in a space station. Is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I think Tesla to me falls in a too hard pile because there are cases that you can build on Tesla which would make $1 trillion look low. And there are cases that you can build on Tesla will make the $1 trillion look too high. And the same with SpaceX. I mean, Elon is unpredictable in many different ways. What he's accomplished is incredible. He's really accomplished a lot. The US is a big winner. It never spent on his education. He was not born here. We got all the fruits. I mean, the immigration story with the US is fantastic. So I think Tesla is in many ways a great, remarkable story. The other thing I would also say to give Tesla credit where it's due is the rest of the pack has had, the Model S came out, 10 years ago? None of them have put out a car that matches the 2012 Model S. And the reason they have not been able to put that out is because they are bad at software. And the car companies, the legacy car companies will always struggle with software. The thing is, there's a gap between Tesla and the others. It always looks like the others are coming, but they're always behind. And so it is not inconceivable that in the long run, Tesla ends up with 50+% market share. In the very long run, we may end up with most of the auto industry being electric, and we may end up with 1 or 2 companies owning 30, 40, 50% market share. Like Munger says, we are old too soon and wise too late. What is gradually sinking in is a willingness to pay up. And the other thing that is sinking in, which is more important, is a willingness to hold. So, the 2 big mistakes that I have made, one is very obvious, passing on a number of great businesses because they looked optically overpriced. In the end, it turned out they were not overpriced, but when you looked at them, they looked expensive. It's just that they were such awesome businesses. You could have paid 30, 40 times earnings and still done really well on them. And The second more difficult thing is that you buy something that's an incredible business. It's available at 10 times earnings, and you know it's worth 20, 30 times earnings. It does well, it gets to 20, 30 times earnings, and you sell it, and it keeps going. And that's the other thing. So those are the two big mistakes. Being too much of a cheapskate, not paying up, and being too much of a cheapskate and not willing to hold. And I'm hoping to get better at both of those. So there's still a lot of learning and growth for me.
All right. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos just like this one. To continue learning about investing, watch this video right here.